Hello, 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 beautiful people. I hope all is well. I hope all is well. If you are new to my page, if this is the first time you've seen me go live, my name is Alison. I am a certified dating and relationship coach, and I primarily work with singles to help them find the love and commitment that they deserve. Every week, I do this live Q&A. So let me explain how it works. I'm going to have to probably explain it halfway through again, which is a-okay, so that we are all on the same page. So every Tuesday I post this green story. Y'all see this green story right here? I post this green story, and in the story there is a box. Inside of the box is where you would place any question you have in regards to dating or relationships, okay? And then I will do my best to answer it in the time that's allotted. We have a little bit less than 50 minutes together. Please only ask one question, because I'm only going to answer one question per person. So that means that you are wasting your time by putting multiple questions, y'all, okay? And if you do have multiple questions and you can't wait until next week to get the free advice, you can click the link in my bio and you can book a session. I have 30 minutes. I have an hour. 30 minutes is enough. Like, we don't need to talk all day. Get in and get out. So, hi, Sophia. How are you? I assume it's Sophia. It says Soph, but I mean, it has to be Sophia, right? Hi, all smiles, Danny. I was just thinking about you. I was going to text you, and I was going to ask you to make sure you send me pictures of your aunt's house when you get to Grenada, because I want to see what it looks like. Hi, Touche. How are you? Marlon D. Slack. How are you? I made sure my phone is on D&D, so nobody's going to interrupt our live, okay? Hi, Lexi. How are you? Hey, Ayo Foxy. I miss you. I haven't seen you in a long time. Color me shy. I got that right. Ha ha ha. She's Breaking Bad. Thank you, Jordana. She said, I look pretty. Culinary Chrissy, how are you? Everyone else who's rolling in, hello, 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 hello. All right. So let us jump into the questions that have already been inputted. It is too late to ask your question now. You have 24 hours. It is over. See you next week, or click the link in the bio. Okay? All right, beautiful people. Let us start from the beginning. Hi, Kermit. How are you? Okay, so the question is, how often should you communicate with someone you are dating exclusively? How often should you communicate with someone you are dating exclusively? Thank you for the glowing comment. I have to tell you, though, I do not believe when people say that. I just think that they mean that your face is fat. But I'll take glowing any day now, and then my face will start to slim down, and I'll look like me again, okay? How often should you communicate with someone you are dating exclusively? All right, so when we say communicate, what are we talking about? Because in this day and age, it takes 10 seconds to send a text message from your bed, from the toilet, from the red light, right? So there's no reason why someone should not be communicating with someone else that they are seeing romantically every single day. If we're including text messages, every single day. There's no reason. Now, if you're talking about just phone calls, exclusively phone calls, FaceTime, what have you, then I think within reason, we do have to take into consideration that there are some people who are single parents. We have to take into consideration that some people have extremely demanding jobs, and you knew that when you signed up to date them exclusively, right? You knew that. So taking that into consideration, I would say a phone call every other day within reason is fair. But if we're talking about communicate, I'm communicating with y'all now. Like, there's no reason why someone cannot reach out every single day. Okay? So how often should you communicate with someone you're exclusively dating? Every day. A text at minimum every day. I like a phone call every other day. A phone call can be 10 minutes. A phone call can be 10 hours. Again, within reason and consideration of the person's schedule and other considerations. Yes, KQ Booker, I do work with single men, taken men, any human being who needs help. Actually had an hour-long session just yesterday with a gentleman that I think was helpful, okay? We have a good friend who stopped by. He said, just stopped by to tell you that God's hand is on your life. So normally I don't say anybody's name. Everything is anonymous, but I'll just go ahead and say, because this is my good friend Marlon Slack. And he said that he just stopped by to let me know that God's hand is on my life. Thank you. And I'm going to need God's hand on my life forever, but especially in the next couple of days, because you guys know what the rates are. I don't want to say it too blatantly in regards to a delivery for Black women, especially in New York. So I'm gonna need God like more than ever. So thank you, Marlon. I appreciate you stopping by and sharing some word. How do you feel about workplace romance? How do you feel about workplace romance? Okay, so generally speaking, it would be intelligent to say that you don't want to eat where you shit, right? Like, you don't want to be in a position where you're dating someone from work, it goes awry, and now you're super uncomfortable in your workspace, right? However, I will tell you that for, I don't know, over 100 years, that's how most people met, is in the workspace, right? So I don't want to disregard the workspace as some place that's like an impossibility. But what I would do is I would take some things into consideration. Let me give you guys an educational example, because I come from a background of education. So I was an 8th grade social studies teacher, right? So we had the 8th grade team, and the 8th grade team was in a very like targeted hallway, right? So it was English, math, science, history. We planned together. We went on trips together. We went to the prom together. We had to do graduation rehearsal together. Like, I cannot imagine dating someone who was a part of the 8th grade team on the 3rd floor in that corridor with everything that we have to do in unison. Now, me as the 8th grade teacher on the 3rd floor in the 8th grade corridor may not necessarily have a problem with me dating the kindergarten teacher who's literally in the basement. We do not have common planning. We do not have lunchtime together. Like, we would see each other in the main office to clock in if we come in at the same time, and to clock out if we leave at the same time, right? So I think that there can be some considerations. I would not automatically dismiss anybody from my workspace simply because we work in the same place. But I would take into consideration that if things went awry, would this be disruptive to my daily life? Me dating someone who teaches 8th grade would be disruptive to my daily life. 7th grade would be disruptive to my daily life. 6th grade, because we're all on the same floor, right? Me teaching the 1st grade teacher, I'm literally never going to see them. We're never going to go on a trip together. There's never going to be a time where we plan together. So that would be when I say within reason. If you're in my department, I probably would not, right? So let's translate the education example to an example that's probably more realistic for you guys out there. If we're in the same department, if we're on the same floor, if we tend to be assigned to the same projects, I'm not dating somebody that's that close. But in the same building and we don't cross paths, I don't think is outrageous. And I said the workplace has been a place where couples have met historically. It's not that bad. I wouldn't swear it off altogether. Okay? Excellent. Can another relationship start while still living with an ex? Can another relationship start while still living with an ex? So again, education background, right? Can another relationship start? Sure. People start new relationships all the time. They're legally married. They're supposedly happily married. They're engaged. They have multiple relationships going on. They still start a 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th one. You could do whatever you want to, right? Would I recommend that anybody on this earth start a relationship while still living with an ex? Absolutely not. Now, mind you, I live in New York City, so I understand rent. I understand mortgage prices. I understand it's not easy for you to transition. It's extremely expensive, and I understand that, unfortunately, that's a big reason why a lot of people still are together, especially in markets like in New York and LA, is because of rent. So I get the finances, but we also need to be realistic here. Is it healthy for you to be engaging in a new relationship? Is it fair to the other person that you are still living with an ex? You have potentially the pressures of sex of somebody who's right next door, or potentially in the same room. It's inappropriate, and I highly, highly, highly recommend that you do not engage in a new relationship until you are absolutely free and clear of the one that you're in, which would include this person not living in the same space as you. So, should you? No. Can you? You can do whatever the hell you want to do. I wouldn't recommend it. Okay? How do I know he is really serious about me in the beginning of dating? How do I know he's really serious about me in the beginning of dating? Well, let's go back to the fact that you said it's the beginning of dating. So how serious would you expect anyone to be in the beginning of dating? It's the beginning, right? If we're talking about the beginning, that means I'm just getting to know you casually. We're spending time together. We're on the phone. We're getting to know each other. So neither party should be really serious if I'm using my understanding of what really serious means, right? Now, is he attracted to you? Then you can look at the love language signs to tell if there's a level of attraction, right? Does he compliment you? Does he want to offer you acts of service? Does he buy you small gifts? You look at the love languages, you can tell if he's attracted or if he's interested. But it's the beginning. So any kind of true level of seriousness, I think, may be too much to ask. And if someone is getting really hot and heavy with you early in the game, I would be concerned, right? The love bombing is just, it's a little too strong. The beginning of dating is just that, the beginning. We're laying the foundation. We're spending some quality time. We're on the phone. We're getting to know each other. To have an expectation that someone's supposed to be hot and heavy is scary to me, and I wouldn't deal. Okay? How long should you wait before becoming intimate with a person that you are dating? How long should you wait before becoming intimate with a person you are dating? I get this question pretty frequently, and I have to tell you that I don't have an answer for you. I don't have an answer for you. I cannot answer that question for anyone. I am not in a position to answer that question. You have to decide within yourself what your morals, your values are. You have to decide whether or not you are prepared to risk being used for sex. You have to decide whether or not how horny you are. Like, this is something that I don't have an answer for. And I don't think that anyone has. Your pastor ain't got the answer neither. Okay? You as an adult have to decide when you are prepared to share yourself in that way and the risks that come along with that. The health risks, the pregnancy risks, the emotional risks. I can't ever answer that question, and I'm really sorry. Okay? Is Hinge a dating app you recommend? Not having luck on apps or in person. Is Hinge a dating app you recommend? Not having luck on apps or in person. Okay, so what I need you to do is when you're done this live, right? You are going to go to the highlights that's at the top of my page, and you are going to read the frequently asked questions, because I answer this question all of the time. There is no hard and fast answer as to what is a good dating app. Good dating apps are good for you depending on where you're located, depending on your age, depending on your demographic, depending on the demographic of the person that you're seeking. Like, there's so many factors. So there's no hard and fast answer to say Hinge is good, but this is not good, and this is good, but then that's not good. It's going to depend on your purpose and your location. Okay? How many accounts they have, depending on the region. Like, it's so multifaceted. It's way more complicated than what anyone can answer. If anyone pretends that they know which dating app is a good app, they're lying to you. They're absolutely lying, right? I can tell you some of my favorites based on folks who live in New York. And so in order to get that answer, you can click the link in my bio, right? Because there's people who are on this live who are actively paying for that information. But nonetheless, there's no hard and fast answer. What I will tell you, though, is that for those who speak poorly about dating apps, the same human beings that you would meet at brunch, and the same human beings that you would meet at a cigar bar, and the same human beings that you would meet in the gym, and the same human beings that you would meet at work, are the same human beings who have profiles on these dating apps. So the idea that dating apps are problematic, or the idea that in person is problematic, is silly. Unless you want to say that all dating is all terrible, which is fine. You can say that. Good luck to you in your loneliness. Because if you want to continue this rhetoric of negativity, that everyone is terrible, that everyone is trash, that the dating pool has pee in it, guess what? You're in the pool too. So are you a contributor of the piss? Right? If you want to continue with this negativity, then you are absolutely right. That will be your experience. You're absolutely right. As long as I believe that I can't lose weight, diet doesn't work for me, exercise doesn't work for me, then I'm never going to lose the weight because I have convinced myself that the answer doesn't work for me. There's something magical about my DNA that diet and exercise doesn't work for me. Even though it works for everybody else, it doesn't work for me. Okay? So online dating doesn't work for you. And offline dating doesn't work for you. There's something that's magical, guess what? About you. And that magic might not be good magic. I ain't gonna call it black magic because I don't like when we put black in front of stuff to make it negative, right? There's something about you that makes it not work. Not something about the dating pool. So this ideology, this negativity that we keep putting out there, that the dating pool is problematic, that everybody is a problem, all men cheat, all women use men, like all this war, this gender war is not going to get you to your end result. This is how I see things. Let me give you guys a little bit of a breakdown, okay? This is how I see things. And I tell the story all the time, so I apologize if you've heard this already, okay? I live in New York. You know, there's not a lot of pressure for us to drive in New York, right? I mean, now after COVID, there's crazies on the train and stuff. But generally speaking, there's not pressure. Like our billion-dollar mayor, former mayor, took the train to work every day. There's no pressure to drive it. It doesn't mean that you're a bum. The culture is different when it comes to driving. I was like, I was 21. I was 21 and I really wanted to drive because I was tired of calling the taxi service. This is before Uber. I was tired of calling the taxi service. And then they would say, oh, no cars available, call back. All the time. No cars are available, call back. No cars are available, call back. Very annoying, right? You got somewhere to go, you got someplace to be, and there's no one who can get you there in a timely fashion, warm and safe, okay? So at 21, I got to a point where I said, nah, I want to drive. Like, I need a driver's license. I need a car. I need to be able to get to where I need to go when I need to go and not rely on these taxi drivers, right? And so my mother, she lives off of Linden Boulevard. So if you know anything about New York City, Linden Boulevard is like a 7-lane road. It's huge. There's tractor trailers that go up and down the road right by a hospital. There's plenty of traffic, right? So one day I was looking out the window and I was looking at all these cars just driving past. And I said to myself in my head, I had this thing in my head, right? I said to myself, yo, if all of these dumb, now, I don't want to say what I was thinking because, you know, my mouth is nasty. If all these dumb folks can figure out how to drive, I can figure out how to drive. I got old people, young people, black people, white people. If all of these people can figure it out, I can figure it out. Okay? Don't be asking me how old I am. Don't be rude. Right? Before Uber. If they could figure it out, I can figure it out. And that was like a light that went off in my mind for the rest of my adult life from 21 to now, whenever now is the whole phase expert, okay? If they can figure it out, I can figure it out. If they can figure out how to get that degree, I can figure out how to get that degree. If they can figure out how to launch that business, I can figure out how to launch that business. If they can figure out how to buy a house, I can figure out how to buy a house. There is nothing that they can do that I can't do. Why? What do they have over me that I can't figure it out? How much more intelligent are these people than me? I highly doubt it, right? My point is, to bring it all back, is that if somebody else has figured out how to build a healthy relationship, I can figure out how to build a healthy relationship. If somebody else has figured out how to parent effectively and raise good human beings on earth, then I can figure out how to parent effectively. If they've done it, I can do it. So how is it that there are so many people who are in happy, fulfilling relationships, but it's me who can't find nobody, and it's everybody else's fault and it's not me? Nah. If they figured out how to date effectively, if they figured out how to have discernment, if they figured out how to find balance, if they figured out how to deal with conflict effectively, if they figured out how to get rid of whatever traumas they faced in their childhood, they figured it out. If they can figure it out, I can figure it out. I need y'all to apply that to your life. It's not the pool. And if it is the pool, you're in it. You pee in too. It's blue around you too. This ideology of this is the perfection that you are providing to the world and everybody else is broken is ridiculous. Right? So please, I know I kind of went off because she didn't even ask you all that. Point is, stop with the negative vibes. You're putting out an energy that you will not be successful, and you're absolutely right when you do so. Okay? Okay. Sorry. I'm moving on. I got 30 minutes and mad questions. Okay. Where were we? How to slide in a guy's DM. Matched online months ago. Exchanged IG. Never continued convo. How to slide in a guy's DM. Matched online months ago. Exchanged IG. Never continued convo. Okay, so we send a DM that says, hey, how are you? I hope all is well. We matched online a couple of months ago. Like this, it ain't gotta be slick. It ain't gotta be smooth. There's no lines that need to be established here. It's, hey, how you doing? It's me again. We matched a couple of months ago. Seems like we haven't had a chance to connect. How are you? If he picks up the combo, great. You can continue to see where this thing goes. If he doesn't, which I think he may be disinterested at this point, which is A-okay. He has a right to be, just like you have a right to be, right? Then, yeah, it's dead, and you'll continue to be on the dating apps, and you'll continue to go out socially at least once a week, and you'll meet new people, you'll connect, and you're not going to let stuff just fizzle out and die anymore. It's not rocket science. Ladies, I get on y'all every week. I don't know why y'all make my life so hard every week. It is not rocket science. You can say hello. You will not die. I will pay you money. I will pay your family money because supposedly you're going to die, right? I will pay your family money if you die the next time you say hello to a gentleman or you're interested in a gentleman and it's unrequited. I will pay your family $100 if you die the next time that something is unrequited. You will be okay. As a matter of fact, you'll get a thicker skin, right? So we gotta, hey, what's up? We connected on the app a couple months ago. Hope all is well. Is everything all right? Just checking in with you. If the conversation continues, great. If it doesn't, that's fine too. It'll be all right. Okay. At what point do you think a woman should start paying for dates? At what point do you think a woman should start paying for dates? I think that's a great question. So for me, I would feel comfortable paying for date number 3, date number 4. And the reason why I say date number 3 or 4 is because I'm definitely not paying for date number 1. Like that is not an option for me. I'm not paying for date number 1. I'm not asking a gentleman to go out on a date initially. I want to see that he's interested and he's willing, right? So he's going to ask me. So if he asks me, I'm not paying. So that's date number 1 is down the drain. Is not an option. I'm not paying for date number 1 under any circumstance whatsoever. Then sometimes date number 1 is a little awkward and you don't really get a chance to pick up on the vibe and the energy and the chemistry and the je ne sais quoi and all that kind of good stuff. So then we'll do date number 2. Once it's not like awkward to the point where this is clearly inappropriate or clearly a mismatch, we'll go on date number 2. That gentleman's going to pick up on date number 2. No, but if I like you, around date number 3, 4-ish, I like you. So I don't mind putting out some cash in order for us to spend some quality time together. So I'll go with 4. Around date number 4 is when I would pick up the tab. Around date number 4, I would feel comfortable asking him out. Are you available? What you doing this weekend? It's the beginning, but it's not outrageously the beginning. We've established that there is some kind of connection. And so that would be that. All right. So that's for me. Around date number 4. Communication has been inconsistent. I can't tell if he's serious. How do I address it? Communication has been inconsistent. I can't tell if he's serious. How do I address it? Guys, and maybe it's the New Yorker meeting. Maybe that's why y'all like me. Just like the other thing. Hey, I would prefer if we talked every blank. I've shared this with you before. Are you busy? Are you working on a project? Is there something going on that's delaying you from being able to connect, hey, I've noticed that our communication has been inconsistent. I reach out to you every day. Sometimes I get a response. Sometimes I don't. You say you're going to call back and you don't call back. And communication is really important to me. Is there something going on? Put it out there. Ask a question. You will be all right. More likely than not, I'll be honest with you, more likely or not, he will probably say nothing is wrong and will probably continue down the same path. And at that point in the game, then we already know what it is. If you're displeased with the level of communication, you don't continue to communicate. That's it. You bring it up. You ask respectfully and clearly what's going on. This is what I've noticed. This is what I would appreciate. This is what I would like. Is everything okay? If they don't have a solid reason, they're going to say, oh, no, it's nothing. It's this, that, and the other. Okay. If they change it, great. If they don't change it, that's great too. You move on accordingly. But if you have prioritized communication and this person is either unwilling or unable to deliver, there really isn't much to be said. Okay? You move on accordingly. Okay. This person asked 3 questions. I love you, baby. I'm not answering all 3 questions. So which one am I going to answer? Okay. My fiance removed money from our home savings for no reason. Should I end the engagement? My fiance removed money from our home savings for no reason. Should I end this engagement? First of all, it can't be for no reason. He took the money out for something. And seeing that this is your fiance, you intend to be married, you're saving together, you're purchasing a home, you have a right to know, because it's y'all money, you have a right to know what that thing is. It can't be for nothing. He bought a pair of sneakers, he wanted a game, he mismanaged his budget, he needed pocket money. There's some reason, and you have a right to know because it's y'all money. So you need to find out what the reason. What was that reason? Like, you have a right to know what the reason is, and we need to know. We don't need to know. You need to know. You get the point, right? Now, whatever the reason is, I don't care if somebody is locked up, his mother needed surgery, like whatever the reason is, it's y'all money. He needs to consult you first before taking out said money, right? So it doesn't matter how minor or major the situation is. It's our money. You have to consult me. That is the nature of the game. However, I would not end the engagement because he made the mistake of taking money out without consulting you. I would not. Just absolutely not. To me, that is not a deal breaker. It is cause for concern. It is cause for a very important conversation. It is cause for you to be more mindful, to pay attention to the account. It is cause for you to create some kind of rule and regulation around the contribution of said account. I would not end my engagement because my fiance took money out of our account. I assume without consultation. Because for no reason he took it out. So that's where I would go with that. Okay? Someone asked how much. That might be important too. If it was $20 or $20,000, that might be a big difference. I would not end the engagement because of it. But there are definitely going to be some things that are put in place as a result of this. Okay? Should I avoid men's dating profile when they are unsure of what they are looking for? Should I avoid men's dating profile when they are unsure of what they are looking for? Absolutely. Absolutely. You should not converse. You should not exchange contact. You should not go on a date because you're bored. You should not go on a date because you haven't practiced. You should not have any dealings with anyone who is unsure about what they are looking for romantically when you are. You should not have any dealings with anyone who's unsure about what they want in any element of how you would fit in their life. What do I mean by that? If there was a job posting that said, looking to hire, we're not sure of what the job title is, but we want to hire somebody. I'm not applying. I don't know if I'm an appropriate match. I don't know if the level of education makes sense. I don't know if I have the experience. I don't know if they have the budget. If you are unsure of how you want to take me on, then I am very sure that I don't want to be taken on. If someone says they are unsure of what they're looking for, then I would absolutely not give them the time of day. I'm not giving them the time of day. You don't know. When you know, if I'm still available, you can hit me up. What? You gotta be sure. I need you to be sure. However you're gonna take me on. You are a hair braider. That's how you're gonna take me on as a client, because you're gonna braid my hair. If you are unsure of what your talents are in the hair department, I'm not gonna book you, because I know I want 2 braids going back to, right? That's what I want. And if you are unsure if you can deliver, I'm not gonna book you. I want Chinese food. You don't know what kind of food you cook. You haven't established that in your restaurant yet. I'm just gonna send you money and hope that Chinese food end up on my, come on, y'all. Absolutely not. Okay? When a man has cheated on you in the dating stage, should you forgive him or move on? When a man has cheated on you in the dating stage, should you forgive him or move on? Okay, so I think that we all have different definitions of what dating is, and as a result, I'm a little confused. So the way that I define dating for me and my clients is an opportunity for 2 people to spend quality time together in with romantic intent. With romantic intent. So 2 parties spending quality time together, either speaking or physical time together with romantic intent. That means that we are not committed. Notice there was no commitment there, right? And so if you are defining dating the same way that I define dating, and the way that I define it on my page, and the way that I define it in my business, then there ain't no way he could be cheating on you, because he's not committed to you to be cheating. Ain't no way you could cheat on him, because you're not committed for you to cheat on him. So if you're defining it the same way as I do, he ain't cheat. So there's nothing to talk about. He's seeing other people, as I highly recommend that you should see other people, right? Whether or not you choose to have sex with them, you're an adult and you can make that decision on your own, right? So I don't want to get hung up on language, but I think it's important that we differentiate, we understand, and the people that we are seeing understand what we mean when we say certain things. So when a man has cheated on you in a dating stage, should you forgive him or move on? There is no cheating in the dating stage as to the way that I define dating. Now, if you are saying that you are in a committed relationship with this gentleman, you are in a committed relationship with this gentleman, you have to decide whether or not you're going to forgive or whether or not you're going to move on to someone else. I can't answer that for you, especially with this very limited information. I can't answer that for you, right? So if you are in a committed relationship with someone and they cheat on you, you have to decide whether or not you believe that this relationship is worth saving. You have to decide how important cheating or fidelity or infidelity is to you. You got to make that distinction. I can't make that for you. Okay? For me, if you're asking me, I would not stay with a gentleman that I was dating exclusively. I don't know, however you want to term it, like we're in a committed relationship. I would not stay with a gentleman who cheated on me. I would not. That doesn't mean that you should, because Alison said, don't listen to me, right? You have to make the best decision for you, right? What's your opinion on rekindling things with an old flame after 20 years? What's your opinion on rekindling things with an old flame after 20 years? So this is an excellent question. I often talk about getting back with exes, right? I mean, you put this nicely, rekindling with an old flame. It's getting back with an ex. Now, I think you put the 20 years because you were trying to make a big distinction between who you were then and who you are now, I hope, and who he or she was then and who they are now. So let's talk about it. I am for giving second chances. I am for going back with an ex, once they're not abusive and all that kind of stuff. Please don't waste my time with foolishness. Y'all know what I'm talking about. I am for rekindling things with an old flame. If and only if, this is the caveat, whatever caused your separation back then has been rectified. Whatever caused your separation back then has been rectified. So, You were an actor. You were pursuing your career. You moved to New York. You left your college boyfriend in Indiana. You guys separated because you realized a long distance relationship wasn't a good fit for the two of you. I came to New York. I pursued the career. Either I didn't think it was what it was, or I was unsuccessful. I've moved back to Indiana. I say that because I have my friend from Indiana who's on here, right? The problem was the distance. That's not a problem anymore. So since that problem has been rectified, there's no shame, there's no issue, there's no conflict, because we're good to go. If the problem is that this person is controlling, right? They got mommy issues, they have this, they have that, they have the other, and that hasn't changed, and they haven't been to any kind of mental health professional, no kind of therapy, no kind of counseling, no kind of reflection, no kind of nothing, right? And they are showing up as the same person 20 years later, and they're still controlling, and they're still problematic, then I would not recommend getting back with the old flame, because the problem hasn't been rectified. That's in any case. I'm not going to go back to a hairstylist if I left her because she's always late and she doesn't respect my time. And then I still know people who go to her and she's still always late and she still doesn't respect their time. The problem hasn't been rectified. Why would I ever go back to a situation that hasn't been fixed? It's not logical. And I think one of the biggest problems that we have in romantic relationships is that we pour so much emotionality, and I hope that's a real word, so much emotionality into our relationships that we have removed logic and reason. Logic and reason says that if the problem still stands, I'm not going to set myself up for failure over and over and over again, and then have the audacity to blame somebody else. And then have the audacity to blame somebody else when we knew what it was, because we did no assessment, no vetting, no discernment, no nothing. And then we're surprised when we're in the same exact situation we were in before. And it's everybody else's fault. And then it's the dating pool that sucks. No, you suck because you are unreasonable. You remove logic and reason from your romantic relationships, and you're just not thinking, and you're leading with your heart. To answer the question, my opinion, you can rekindle whatever you want to rekindle once it makes sense that whatever caused the breakup before has been rectified. If it has not been rectified, I don't care if it's been 20 years or 20 minutes, it doesn't make sense. It's unreasonable. Okay? Should I continue to date a guy who brings up my children's deceased father in bad ways? Should I continue to date a guy who brings up my children's deceased father in bad ways? A lot of this depends, right? So is what he's saying the truth? I know it's not nice, but is what he's saying the truth? And then have you also told him that it is offensive to you when he speaks about this person? He's dead, let's move on. So one, is what he's saying the truth? Two, have you made it clear to him that this is offensive and it hurts you and disrespectful to the dead? If what he's saying is the truth, then we can move on to step two. Okay? Now, if you've told him that this is problematic and it hurts your feelings and he doesn't stop, that means he doesn't have respect for you. It's not about the actual death of the dad. It's not about how poorly he may have treated you or the children. Yes, if he's speaking about this in front of the children, then that's nothing. He's disgusting. He's a disgusting human being. I'm assuming that he doesn't. I hope not. If you've made it clear to him that this hurts your feelings and he continues to speak poorly of this dead man, then he does not have respect for you. It has nothing to do with the father and has to do with his lack of respect for you. And as a result, I would no longer date him. Not because of the actual comments themselves, but because this person clearly has no respect. How can I tell you, it really hurts me when you speak about such and such? He's dead. Can we just move on? Right? And you keep going, that you don't have any respect for me. So guess what? Goodbye, sir. Okay? A week after the first date, how do I tell him that I'm not into him, but we can be friends? I'm not into you, but we can be friends. Come on, y'all. It's not hard. I'm not feeling a connection. There's a lack of chemistry. These are the things I'm looking for. I don't think that we're a good match, but if you would like to have a friendship, then I wouldn't mind that. It's not hard. It's really not hard. If you're that afraid he's going to curse you out after, Send your message and then block him if it's that serious, okay? Where are the successful black men in Brooklyn? You're going to click the link in my bio. You are going to pay the $37 it is for Dating 101. It's a 3-hour course, and I talk all about where you can find men. I'm not going to say black men. I'm not going to say black men. And I'm black. Because when you put yourself in this very particular box of limitation that they are not putting themselves in, and they shouldn't, and I support that, then you are limiting yourself. And then you're surprised if you don't get the results that you want. Okay? So I have on my link in my bio, Dating 101. It's a 3-hour course. It is $37. And I talk about where to meet eligible men, right? Some of them will be black. Some of them won't be black. Some of them will be Christian. Some of them won't be Christian. Some of them will be light. Some of them will be dark. Some of them will be tall. Some of them will be short. We need to stop limiting ourselves in that we can only date black. Why? Because only black men will understand our experience. Yeah, and then there's going to be some men, black, white, or indifferent, who don't respect your experience. And it doesn't matter whether or not they share the same color as you and a mama share the same color as you, right? 'Cause they don't care about your experience because they don't have an appreciation for what it's like to be a woman. They know what it's like to be black. And that's great. Trust me, that's special. But you keep holding on to this ideology that I must have a black man and I must have, or you can date other people, have other experiences, and see what God has for you. Your choice. Is pretending to not see an ex in public okay? Or should I be a decent human and say hello? You ain't got to say hi to nobody. You don't like them, don't say nothing to them. Keep it moving. Period. You're not obligated to be kind to anyone, okay? Friend of 20 years will seldom text Hayes. Like, hey, how do I get down to his intent? Ask him. Ask him. Hey, you just texted me, hey, like, what's going on? Are you checking in on me? Are you trying to rekindle a friendship? Is there something more? Just ask him. Guys, come on. How can you be successful with exclusively only dating long distance? Why are you exclusively only dating long distance? If long distance falls into your lap, you guys already know I'm not a fan of long distance. You guys already know I'm not a fan of starting long distance. It's one thing if you are already in a romantic relationship and then someone has an opportunity or an emergency and they're forced elsewhere and you try to work it out, versus why are we starting? So can you be successful with exclusively only dating long distance? Let me answer your question. Yes, you can. Yes, you can be successful. Why are you exclusively only dating long distance? Where are you that you can't date some people who are around you? Okay. Now, I'm going to answer the question I think you intended to ask is, how can you be successful with exclusively dating long distance? I will tell you an answer that you probably don't want to hear, which is the only way that you can be successful is if you have two things. Two. Number one, there needs to be constant communication. FaceTime, Zoom, phone calls, text messages, all that. Constant communication so the person feels connected to you. That's number one. That one's not a hard pill to swallow. This one's a hard pill to swallow. There needs to be an end date. So the guy that you're dating, he's off in Korea and he's going to be back in the States in 18 months. The girl that you're dating is away at college and she's going to be back in 10 months. If there's not a deadline where you can say, okay, I can hold on. I can do this. I can wait X amount of time. Even if that time is 5 years. If there is no deadline, it is going to be extremely difficult for you to be able to withstand the pressures of online, of long distance dating. I don't recommend it. Okay? All right, guys, I have 5 minutes and like 7 questions. I'm going to try to go a little bit faster. Do you think income is okay to discuss when first dating? Do you think that income is okay to discuss when first dating. I don't think it's appropriate for you to ask someone's income, and I absolutely would not share my income in the beginning of dating. We could talk about finances, right? In general, we could talk about budgets. We could talk about the importance of savings. We could talk about investments. We could talk about what you're into. But I am absolutely not talking about income, like my actual salary, or asking about someone's actual salary is inappropriate, and I would not recommend it from either party, okay? Planning to move in 1 year, however, would like to start dating. Should I wait till I'm in the new location is what they meant to write, okay? Planning to move in 1 year, however, would like to start dating. Should I wait until I'm in my new location? So it depends on how far that location is. So I have a client, she's somewhere in North Carolina, and she's moving to Raleigh. It's 40 minutes away. She asked me the same question. I said, it's 40 minutes. I mean, gas prices, whatever, but it's 40 minutes. It's no big deal. Don't hold off for that. If you're moving cross country, I just gave my spiel about long distance. I do not recommend it. So if depending on the distance in which you're moving, I would potentially hold off. Okay? Suggestions for someone whose city lacks quality and quantity of men. Try dating app. It depends on your city. I can tell you this, right? I just wanted a whole spiel about the pee and who was the one who's actually pissing and all that kind of stuff. Lacking quality and quantity, I'm going to need evidence and proof of that. If you're saying they lack quality and quantity because I'm in Atlanta, they lack quality and quantity because I'm in LA. No, they don't. I had someone who reached out to me for a consultation. She wanted to join my group. And when she spoke, she's West African. She wanted to date a West African man, and she was in Rhode Island. I told her, good luck. Good luck. Look at the percentage, look at the population of how many West African men are in Rhode Island. So if you're telling me that you're in a place like that, where legitimately the I'm not going to say quality, the quantity of the men that you choose to be your preference doesn't exist, then what I would tell you is, okay, that's realistic. Now let's talk about how we're going to change that preference, because that's not a requirement of life. There's no book, there's no rule, there's nothing that's been established that says that the only way that you are going to be happy is if you are with a West African man. Your mama might feel that way. Your daddy might put pressure on you. Your aunties might say so, but that's just not the truth, right? So when you say suggestions for someone whose city lacks quality and quantity of men, is that your truth? Is that statistically true? And if it is, don't complain to me about Atlanta and New York and LA and Miami and Houston. There's plenty, okay? You just have to put yourself out there appropriately. And the DMV and any other place that y'all folks about to throw up in the comments, okay? There's plenty of people. And if somebody else, based on my last spiel, if somebody else has found love in the DMV, somebody else has found love in Miami, somebody else has found love in Richmond, somebody else has found love in LA and Chicago, then that means that it can happen for you, okay? Now, again, if you're really in a location that lacks the quantity, then one of two things: you need to change your location, or you need to change your preferences, because it's not practical, okay? On that note, beautiful guys, I have a group that starts right now, and I got to go because they paid me their money, honey. It has been a pleasure. As I've said, this is how you get your questions answered every week on Tuesday, 24 hours before the live. Yeah, y'all can put all the cities you want. It's the same dang thing, okay? This is the story. You can go ahead and put your questions in. I answer your questions for free every Wednesday. Outside of that, if you have something that's a little bit longer, or you can't wait the week, you click the link in the bio, you pay your money, okay? Other than that, adios amigos. This live will be saved. Have a wonderful day. Bye.